Hey friends, let's talk about our math activities for this week. You're going to be following the purple sheet that you have, and this is going to be for the week of May 4th through the 8th, and you'll go down to the math section. Let me tell you one quick little note. The last lesson, which is 12-5 on day 5, is actually a repeat. It will also be in next week's set of lessons. So I'm not going to go over that today because it really goes better with the next set of lessons that we're going to be doing. So I'm only going to go over in this video 12.1 to 12.4. Okay, 12.1 to 12.4. We'll hit 12.5 in next week's videos, okay? You can either do that one this week. It's probably a review, or you can wait till next week when I explain it. You'll have that same sheet again because it was a misprint. So just a note about that. Okay, this week we're starting a new chapter, chapter 12, which is numbers to 120. Now, boys and girls, we've been practicing writing our numbers to 120 since really before Christmas. We started working on that, started expanding that. Lots of us have already checked that off, but some of us have not. The big problem that we have is we go too fast when we try to write our numbers. We get mixed up. We make backwards numbers that we don't need to do. So be very careful about that. The other thing we do is that we skip numbers because we're trying to write so fast, or instead of going in order, we want to fill in all the tens column and then fill in all the ones column going down. Don't do that, okay? I want you to count just like you would count to me. 1, 2, 3. I want you to keep your numbers in order on your paper because it's much easier for you to catch your mistakes that way. I want you to slow down, okay? Slow down. Don't go so fast. And remember, after you get to 100, you just start over. 101, 102, 103, 104. And remember how you're going to write that. A 1, a 0, and a 1. A 1, a 0, and a 2. Think about those things. We've talked a lot about them. And this week we're going to be practicing that. In your lesson 12.1, okay, on the front side, which would be the side that says numbers to 120, you're going to be writing the number that is one less and one more for the number that is in the middle. Okay, here's what I want you to do, boys and girls, to help you with this. I want you to get out that hundreds chart that Miss Wilson already gave you. Okay, get out the hundreds chart because this is going to be a lot bigger numbers than we've used before. Okay, use that hundreds chart to find the middle number and then go back one and go up one to find the number that is missing. Okay, use your hundreds chart for that. On this next section, you're going to write the number that is 10 less and 10 more. We've also practiced this with our hundreds charts with just smaller numbers. You're going to use that chart again and you're going to find the number in the middle. You're going to hop up a box to find the number that is 10 less. You're going to hop down a box to find the number that is 10 more. Use your hundreds chart to help you with this part if you need it. You're going to do the same thing down here at the bottom. 10 less and 10 more. Okay, on the back of that page, this is a review, kind of like a homework sheet that you would be sent home with, and you're just filling in the number bonds. You're trying to find the number that would equal the number in the big box, okay? So the first one, you have 19, and you're given the number 4. You've got to figure out what else would go with 4 to equal 19. So if you think for a few minutes, you could subtract 19, take away 4, and figure out the answer, and that would be 15. You can use any kind of manipulatives that you have if you need counters, or you can write this problem out, draw your railroad track like we've talked about, and subtract it that way. Okay? All right, good job. Okay, our next lesson, 12.2, is simply filling in your 100s chart. We practice this all the time. You're going to fill in the numbers that are missing to 120. Fill in the numbers that are missing. And then on the back, you have another subtraction practice page. These are all subtracting 10. You could do this a couple of different ways. You could draw out the number 32, and then you could take 10 away. So like when you draw your lines, 10, 20, 30, like your blocks. And then you could take away 10 and see what was left. You could also use your hundreds chart for this by finding the number and then hopping up a square to take a 10 away. Okay, 12.3, we're going to work on place value with bigger numbers, okay? These numbers, boys and girls, are already drawn for you. What you're going to do is you're going to count by tens and ones to find the number. You're going to write that number in the box, okay? So let's look at this first one. I'm going to count by tens, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. 61, 62, I'll have a hard time counting backwards, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67. So you would write the number 67 in the little circle by the boxes. That means you have 6 tens and 7 ones, which make the number 67. We've done this several times with smaller numbers, so this should not be hard for you. At the bottom, it changes it up a little bit. It gives you the number, and then you have to draw it in the box. Now, remember, you're going to have to draw small, and I don't want you to try to draw all these little boxes in a line. I just want you to put one line for a 10 and one dot for a 1 to make it easier. Okay, on the back, you have some more subtraction practice. This time, you're going to be subtracting by 5s. You can use counters for this. You can also use your hundreds chart for this by counting back 5 from the number that you find, the big number. Okay, our last one, 12.4. Kind of more of the same. You're doing place value practice. Okay, it's telling you at the top how many tens and how many ones. So this one will say 7 tens and 4 ones. You're going to draw that on your paper. So you'll do 7 tens and 4 ones, and then you'll put that number together in the circle to make the number 74. Okay, little trick down here at the bottom. You are going to be using bigger numbers than just 2 digits. You're going to be using 3. So you've got a hundreds place, a tens place, and a ones place. It tells you here 100, 2 tens, and 0 ones. So remember, guys, our hundreds block was the big block that was like this big, and it had 10 little lines all connected together. I wish I had one here to show you, but I don't. It's just the big block that was all connected. That was the hundreds block. So on your paper, okay, in this square, you're going to draw that hundreds block. You can just draw a big square there for 100. Remember, your tens are going to just be your lines, and your ones are just going to be your little dots or circles. Okay, on the back, you're going to be adding 5 to all of the bigger numbers. Once again, you can use your number chart, count up 5, or you can just add these with counters, or some of you might be able to just add them in your brain. I bet you can. I hope you have a great week this week in math. Stay tuned. We'll pick up the rest of this chapter next week. Bye, guys.